Part 2 premieres now. Please subscribe to both our Facebook and YouTube channel for more content like this.
But it's
Anything
not
that
okay
too. Yeah.
to be yelling and being disrespectful. Saying things that hurt the other spouse's feelings is that's just bad. That's just
Yeah.
gonna go downhill real quick when you're saying hurtful things. A lot of people do that just to get back, and they don't understand the repercussions of that later. So
Just
Yeah. So I think we started before we had kids,
Right.
because if you think about how much it impacts your kids, think about how much it impacts yourself.
Exactly.
Like if you display this anger, you lose control and you're modifying your own behavior in
Right.
a way that's unhealthy and going down a path that you will regret.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
when you take that emotional response and just jump out there, and suddenly you're saying stuff that you look back and you're like, why the heck did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had
I
to really
know
work-
that was hateful. Yeah.
I had to work on my just emotion regulation skills because I feel my emotions pretty deeply. I think that came easier to you because it's just, yeah. But for me, I had to really work on that because I grew up with parents who yelled a lot,
Right.
and I knew I didn't want to yell. So I always worked really hard on it, but it would come out in other ways. Like I would cry or, I would shut down or I
Right.
would get like kind of, belligerent, but quietly like, I'm not yelling, but I'm super mad,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and that's like contempt. Like that's not cool. So like I had to grow out of a lot of those kind of defense mechanisms and kind of grow up and like, I had a lot of growing to do. And I think that's really like, we got married at 21 and 23. We're 42 and 40 now. We grew up together. We've spent half of our lives or more at this
Absolutely.
point
Yeah.
with each other. So I think but we knew we were ready for that. We knew we were ready to grow up and we wanted to grow up together,
Yeah.
So we knew what we were getting into.
And that's a good thing. Yeah. And like you said, Joel, learning that before you get kids is great.
Yeah.
But some people don't have that luxury. Some people do have
I
children
know.
way before they get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, learn it
Yeah,
as soon as I like to say, learn it as soon as you can. That yelling at each other doesn't get anything solved most times.
And don't just do it for the kids, do it for yourself, do it
Right,
for your spouse.
absolutely. For your
Yeah.
mental health. Yeah, absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said.
And also I will say, I know a lot of couples sometimes think that conflict is bad. It's not. Conflict is really healthy. Like if there's no conflict, then someone's not talking.
Yes, necessary. It has to be. Has to be in every relationship, every involvement with. I mean, conflict happens with people in non-relationships. So
Right.
you can't handle conflict in your relationship. You can't handle it at work. You can't handle it,
Absolutely.
anywhere else. So yeah, you have.
And our kids see how we deal with that. We are not, some discussions are closed door discussions, but some are not. Some are just very open. Let's work this out, figure it out and do it kindly to each other.
Exactly. Being kind is probably the biggest thing. Like I said, hurtful things is not going to get any marriage anywhere.
Hurt him, like I'm with him for life. I don't want to hurt him, right? And I think we can lose sight of that when we're being selfish, which we all are by nature. But when I had to kind of look back, like, wow, I don't want to. I love him. Am I treating him like So that was
like I was saying earlier, Amazon Web Services is down, so a lot of other things are down right now. So how do you guys and gals keep outside distractions like social media, family opinions from affecting your marriage? And how important is that to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. Good.
I have to say, when we first had our kids, social media was relatively young, and it was a great way of sharing pictures and all of that stuff, and it was felt like a productive thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But over the as our kids grew up, I didn't have time for that. And I really, I heard some messages about how it impacts like some of the extremism and but more so for me, it turned into more of a mind suck. It's a time suck, it's a mind suck, and I really withdrew from it until pretty recently. And even now, a lot of times I'll jump on and it's got these like videos that pop up and I'm like, and I'm like, I am not prepared for this type of internet.
Yeah.
I actually use social media a lot more just in, the industry I'm in currently, especially. Before it wasn't as big of a deal. I did use it for networking purposes a little bit to, work with colleagues and stuff. But because of the nature of my work, it really wasn't conducive to use social media a lot.
Okay.
So I really stayed offline,
Right.
have much of a personal presence. Now I have a public presence, and yeah, you should follow me, by the way.
I'll
And
let you do a plug at the end of the video.
it sounds
For
good.
sure.
But yeah, yeah, so I've been on social media a lot more. And one of the things that I've tried to do, especially on the weekends, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've really tried to leave my phone in our room a lot. And like if he's doing something, you know, outside or something, I'll come up here and do my social media stuff. But I really try not to be like on the couch.
Right. Breaking up again. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely harder for me, you know, just because of the line of work I'm in. But it can be a distraction for sure, especially like, you know, if he's trying to tell me something, I'm like half listening.
Yeah. Well, and it was a problem early in your career with, you know, your counseling practice. You'd be like listening and finding referrals and, you know, like stuff would be
Yeah.
popping up here and there.
Oh,
and,
networking.
like
yeah,
constant
yeah.
contact is not healthy.
No,
Yeah.
no. Well, and when you work for yourself, you know, there was a certain element, at least for me, you know, I worked for myself. I owned my own practice and I did it all from home. So it's more work than social media, I would say. Work
Right.
definitely. The work-life boundaries were tough for both of us for various reasons. He was in like a management role and I
Right.
was running practice. And so we definitely, I think that impacted not so much our marriage, but like our family life, I would say. Just maybe our marriage. I don't know if it really did. But I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah.
There were times where it might have impacted our marriage.
Yeah.
Just would seem like you're constantly distracted, so we wouldn't necessarily get into the conversations as early as we should, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
then some pressure would build, and
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, that's true.
talk it
Yeah,
out.
we
Yeah.
did have the conversations, but it took longer sometimes to get
the
there.
longer you wait, the worse it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
The longer you
Yeah.
wait to address something, the worse it's going to get down the road.
Yeah.
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 So how about family drama? Do you deal with it or do you not allow it? And
Well, my family's all gone basically.
oh, sorry to hear that.
And well, that has its own drama too, though, because then it's like, you know, I think I'm putting words in your mouth, so you can correct me with what's not right. But I think sometimes for Joel, that's kind of hard too, because there's that, you know, he knows I miss my parents, you know, and there's nothing he can do about it, you know, so that's kind of a, you ever feel like that?
I do have a lot of powerlessness and things in your
Yeah.
life. And with that one, I think I felt it more with your
Yeah,
mom at that point.
it's true.
And so,
Your job was to like parent them too, not just take care of me.
but it's been long enough that it doesn't feel as much like that now. It's been a little while.
Yeah. But then I'll kind of sometimes I'm like, we do everything with your family, you know.
Right.
I do have some extended family, but like, so I don't know. We don't have a lot of like, it's not a pain point for us. I think
Okay.
it's definitely something we've had to manage, but I don't know. You're quiet. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, my family is quieter.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's
Kinda.
true. They're
Yeah.
quieter.
Definitely more reserved, which is
Love you all. I'm too loud for you anyway.
Is some families do have that peaceful element, and
Yeah.
so there has to be one loud one, Emily. Emily, somebody
That's
has
right.
to be the loud one.
Okay, so when we were dating, right? We would come home late and Joel would walk in and try to be as quiet as possible. And I'm like, you know, banging stuff around, stomping around. My dad, if he heard noise, he was comfortable. But if he sensed that someone was being sneaky, he'd be
Right.
like, "Who's there? What's going on?" You know, and like grab the baseball bat. But Joel's family is the opposite. Like you didn't want to wake anyone up. So, you know, it's
Right.
just different family standards.
Right. Yeah.
pretty much opposites. Yeah.
So they didn't like him. They thought he was kind of sneaky.
Oh, no.
Like, yeah. They came around though pretty quick.
We worked it out. I made a little bit more noise.
Yeah.
It was
It
Right.
worked out.
You had to
Your
learn.
dad's
You had to
not
learn
good.
how to be a little bit loud and rambunctious. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did really well with that too. And like I think that's a theme is like, you know, I if I wasn't paying attention, I could really, you know, overshadow him and he wouldn't ever get a word in.
Right.
So as you can see, like how we interact, like I really, and I told him like before this start, like I'm going to let you lead for a lot of these because I know I want you to have a, you know, equal, you know, word time. Right.
Right,
And so
yeah.
we've developed those kind of like compensatory strategies to make sure we're both.
Yeah, and if we do things right, we rub off on each other and we get the strengths from each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I can tell, like, I read him pretty well too. So like I can tell, like there's been a few times this past hour, he'll kind of move a little bit or he'll breathe, and I can tell, and I look over because I can tell he's trying to say
He
something,
wants to
but
get
he's not
something
just
out.
gonna say it.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to be nudged. And
Yeah,
I see you lead them on, let him go first, and then that way you can speak. That's a good
yeah.
thing. Yeah. There's
Because if I don't,
usually,
I'll just talk too much.
no, I'm pretty sure I think he thinks you're fine. He just it is a time to get, to let him speak, and you've
Yeah.
done very well letting him go first. That way
Oh,
you can
thanks.
get it.
I've worked at it.
All right.
And he's
So
done a lot better, like even speaking up, and he generally like it.
So apparently you guys don't have much family drama, and that's a good thing. Yeah. Because a lot of times the families don't get along, and when they don't get along, or they don't get along with one or the other, you say your family didn't
Yeah,
like Joel or vice versa.
yeah,
That's a bridge between a lot of couples, and they still don't understand their mom's going to be gone, dad's going to be gone, and you just got the other person. Okay, so one more with conflict, communication, and connection. What's your way to reconnect when you guys are going your separate ways and life's getting too busy or stressful? Right. From what I understand, you guys walk a lot. What else do you do, or how do you handle that reconnection when everything gets to be too much?
So, I mean, definitely walking is our kind of our default. Like, this is what we should be doing. Lately, we can, get a drink.
yeah.
What else do we do?
I'm just gonna say, I think our sex life is really important. The topic that people don't like to talk about, but it's something that's really vital because it encompasses like all the dimensions of connection if you're
Right.
doing it right. And that's been a big thing. I think one of the things we also are really good at is we do a lot of like physical touch that's non-sexual. Like
Right.
hugging each other.
Very important.
Yeah, when that doesn't happen, it's harder to feel that connection. And I remember we were just talking recently because, just we hold hands a lot by me being blind, and that's actually been a huge asset to
Right.
our marriage, because if I wasn't blind, we wouldn't need to do that.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a little distracted by our dog.
Oh yeah.
No, there was something that was going around in my head. A lot of times I didn't realize that you could have a rough night where you're talking through some issues, and then you can come together
Yeah.
Right.
as a married couple. And that kind of was something that took longer for me to get to, for
Yeah.
sure. But it really is a critical part of like pulling back to being connected to each other.
Right. Like we still love each other.
Right.
I think we learned to do that. Like once that clicked, like we were pretty good at that. And so I think definitely, walking and talking, because we're not like walking the dog, right? Like that's
Right.
really important to know. It's like, I think when a lot of couples talk about walking, there's a dog in
There's a
between
dog
them.
involved.
Look at the dog. No, leave the dog at home, go for a walk, hold hands, or you're
Right.
not doing it right. And
Long one.
yeah, and take a long
Be out there
walk.
for 40 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's been really good. And so like, just and having dates, but not like, not the kind of dates that are like, we don't want to make a big deal out of the date. The deal is we're spending time together. So when the kids were little, we would have indoor dates, and we would just put the kids to bed, and then we would have our dinner.
There
and
you go.
just, we're going to make a point to sit here together and have candles and do the thing. And that we really carried on. So just making that time and I would say something that we did and we've been pretty good at is I think where a lot of couples can go wrong is like they just don't spend enough time together, so then it's awkward, and we've never let that happen.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good thing. Because spending time together is all you got sometimes. Like you said, when you didn't have money, you had to figure a way, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of couples and they should in some ways, but they base their life and their activities around money. And like you said, just
Yeah.
going out for a walk and
You
stuff
don't need money.
inside the house. I mean,
Right.
I don't
If
know.
you're going to like dinner and a movie, honestly, like I'm worried you're not talking enough. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like dinner's great, but the movie, you're not going to talk during a movie.
Yeah, and you
like,
don't want them to talk to the movie.
Right, exactly. Shut up,
Hopefully, one of you likes the movie enough that
Right.
you don't want the other one talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not paying for it, so you don't watch it. You want to watch it, so you want everybody to be
Right,
quiet.
right.
So those
Yeah.
those long walks actually do help. I mean, like we
Yeah.
don't do that. We just We just
Mhm.
spend time together, and we made it a point not to put a TV in the bedroom.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
A-
That's a really good
and
one
when we
too.
finally did, we made a
Yeah.
decision to say, hey, look, when we're both in here
Yeah.
going to bed, the TV is off. Like if you're in
Good for
there
you.
cleaning and stuff, that's okay.
Yeah.
TV's in there, but yeah, we made it a point, and a lot of couples don't understand that TV in the bedroom is just an argument point.
Yeah.
I think because
We
one's ready for bed and the other one isn't.
yeah, we don't have a TV in here, but with the ever portable iPads and phones, it's
Right.
like so one thing I will say that has helped us, because I know a lot of couples really struggle with like just being interested in different content. So like, that's okay. Like what we do in that is like he'll watch his thing, I'll watch mine, but we're in bed holding hands,
Right.
or we're like so we can wear headphones. If that's really what we're doing, that's fine. But like let's still be together. And we have an end time is another thing. Like we'll agree, we'll be like, okay, what time do we want to end? Right.
Right.
And then the nights we do that, it's great. On the nights we don't, then it gets away from us and I usually fall asleep and then,
Right.
whatever. But like, so being together and still able to like read or do our separate things that's valid too.
Valuable.
Because he doesn't get a lot of time to himself. So I
Right.
really want to make sure he gets that.
Right. That's where that mad money comes in, Joel.
Yeah, exactly. Mad time.
There you get mad time and mad money.
There we go.
Give me 1 second. Okay. So we're going to move on a little bit. You guys' dreams, you guys' fun, and your future goals. So, don't know if you travel, but if money wasn't an issue, what's your dream vacation and where would you plan to go?
Ooh, okay. So I ask him this kind of stuff all the time and he never knows. So I'm going to let you go first.
Oh,
Or I can, but I think you should.
what if I say Glacier National Park?
You will say that's fine. You can say that. Yeah, of course. It's up to you. I don't have to agree with you.
Yeah, but if money's not an issue,
Money's not an issue.
Where would you go if money's not an issue?
at some point I would like to go to like Alaska or somewhere really pristine.
Really cold.
Oh, you can go in the summer.
He said Glacier National Park, and he said Alaska, so both cold. Go ahead.
I know. I can't
Yeah.
get out of this.
Okay.
No, it's okay. You don't have to accommodate me. This is where you want to
Yeah,
go.
this is your dream vacation.
Let's see where
Joel.
I want to go. Let's see what kind
let's
of.
see what.
Okay, so he knows this. I like beaches.
Right.
I'm gonna melt your glaciers. So that's been something interesting actually, and I think even where we live. So we are currently located in New York, in
Right.
like the Rochester, New York area.
Okay.
So we get like 4 good seasons here.
Right.
Like, we are not big travelers, I will say. Like we we'll go a place like a vacation every couple years.
Right.
We went to Florida once. I think I definitely owe you a glacier trip or Alaska trip because we haven't done that.
Yeah.
But luckily, we're not really big travel people. I don't know.
I would rather enjoy where I live
Yeah.
than try to go somewhere else that I enjoy constantly trying to get away to that place.
I agree.
Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good idea. Yeah. Some people don't enjoy, like they say, you're in America, there's plenty of things in America to see.
Absolutely.
Go see
yeah.
some of those things, and
Yeah.
Yep.
people want to go to
And-
these foreign countries and do foreign things, and you have a lot.
Right.
We're a big country. We have a lot of good things to see.
That's right. And I think too, like, we value community. So like if we're vacationing during our off time, then we're not spending that time with our friends.
Right.
And like that's important to us. And we don't actually have family local to us now. But when we did, we would see them a good amount. But now it's like we need to develop our friendship community because that's what we have here locally.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, so it kind of works out. But we do have a lot of fun though with like the music scene and
Okay.
we do festivals. Oh, and we have a tandem bike and we do that quite a bit. I love like water, like kayaking, do that kind of stuff thing. When we get back to it, we haven't really gotten back to that
Yeah,
one.
camping has been kind of dormant for a
Yeah,
while.
it has been.
Yeah.
fun. Oh, skating. We love skating.
Skating's fun,
Yeah,
yeah.
skating's fun.
So we're-
Swimming.
Where would you guys go camp?
Well, you're breathing. Go ahead.
All right. No, I like
Don't be,
clarifying.
don't be
like,
sorry. See, this is he's apologizing.
this is the type of
This
sorry
is
I
the
was
type
talking
of
about
sorry,
earlier.
yeah.
Are you talking like dream camping, or are you talking
It
like
doesn't matter, dream or just on a normal, like since you've been camping, you said it's been a minute. So where would you go camping
Yes,
in your
definitely.
next adventure, Joel?
So I guess,
What is your?
and that's been enjoyable because you don't have to bring the tent. You might not have the most comfortable mattress, but you're out in nature, and there's a really great campground that we go to every year with my family.
Okay.
And I say campground, but it's a national park. It's got these little cabins, and if you want to go get to some running water, you walk like
To the
150.
bathhouse.
If you want a toilet, you go another 200 beyond that.
Okay, but you're misrepresenting your true self a little bit here, because you and I tell me if I'm wrong, unless something changed. I mean, his idea of like real camping is like backpacking, in the woods, right? And see by his face,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's okay.
You ever tried
That's
this?
what
You
you
ever
are.
thought about going to Sequoias in California?
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
yeah,
place,
that'd be
Joel.
nice.
Beautiful place.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll go if you want.
There we go.
You can go.
There's our compromise.
I don't know if that's a compromise, but I'll go. That's fine.
Well, it's not as cold, so it's a little bit of a
Do
compromise.
they-
They're not far from a beach.
California's
they do it.
an hour and a half away from any beach, any cold weather, any snow, any
There we go.
mountains. Yeah. Hour and a half away
I
from everything.
I love camping. I actually would rather like backpack camp than do the bathhouse thing. I hate public bathrooms, so that's
Right.
not really super enjoyable to me. But the limiting factor there has been our kids, and just as a blind parent, it really wasn't safe for me to look after them in new settings like that. So we really didn't camp much, and now they're not used to it, and so they're like,
Right.
"Ugh." We do at least do some cabin camping, and I don't know. I'd like to, if money weren't an issue, I'd like to get a pop-up camper one day, but I don't know that that's going to happen. He doesn't seem too excited about it.
I don't know.
And you said you were in Rochester?
Yeah.
You're in Rochester? Do you have, and I'm just curious, this is for me. Do you guys live in a home? Do you live in a complex, an
Yeah.
apartment, or?
No, we're in a home.
Oh, you're in a home. Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it big enough? Is it big enough for what you do? And
Yeah. Maybe even bigger than we're kind of like, we like the idea of like living in like a small space, just small to heat, small to, but it's the family home. We got teenagers. So,
Right.
we actually just moved last year and made a conscious decision to get something a little bigger so everyone would have space. And,
right.
It wound up being smaller than our
it was
house.
smaller than our house. It's true.
But no, I think it's a reasonably sized house.
Yeah.
It's like not too big, not too small.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It works out. And, it's interesting because a lot of people from New York City over the pandemic started moving to the
Right.
Rochester areas. Things are more expensive than they used to be here, but it's still reasonable. Like
Right.
it really isn't like New York City pricing or California or anything like that.
That's what I was getting at, because
Yeah.
I knew you're from New York. I was born
Yeah.
in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
figured
Yeah.
you might be familiar with like, yeah.
So I know about that, and my dad still, and not anymore, but we still own a brownstone that my dad had in Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
it is a ridiculous price. Like,
I bet. In
If-
Brooklyn. Yeah, no,
yeah,
stuff
ridiculous.
here is not nearly as
Right,
bad here.
yeah.
It's actually reasonable here. So
Yeah,
we're
And it-
we're lucky to live in an area like that.
And we're
Yeah.
half an hour from one of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
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 There you go, Joel. Get out there. All right,
Plenty of opportunities right on our backyard.
That's right. That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, I got one last question, and then I'll let
Uh-huh.
you two talk freely, and we'll just talk about what you want to talk about for a little bit.
Okay.
What would financial freedom mean to you, or what does financial freedom mean to you as a couple?
You're the money guy. You go first.
Okay. So for me, financial freedom means not having to worry about finances, whether that's being able to purchase things or not having bills that you have to constantly attend to, like balancing accounts to like juggle between one thing or another.
Right.
I like being paycheck to paycheck, basically.
Yeah, but there's a lot of mental effort that people have to put into, okay, this card's at this level, this one's at that one, I have this amount here, and this month I'm making this much. Can I buy that thing in 2 weeks? Or I don't like living close to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And thanks to you, we don't have to live close to that edge.
And so I will aggressively fight to not have to do
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think I would have disciplined myself. I think I would have been there. In all honesty, I would be in a lot of credit card debt probably. So, I'd agree. I think because of him, we, are in a much better place than that.
Right.
And I think, like, if I'm being honest, financial freedom to me, if I'm just speaking as a person, like I want to buy what I want to buy without having to talk to him about it.
Right.
But it's really, at the same time, it's been really good for our relationship. We do still have things that like all want that he's like, can't we The red gloves. I'm gonna go get these.
Oh.
I'm gonna get. I think they're right here. I think they're right here. Yes. Okay. These gloves. Okay, it's a big deal. These gloves I saw in a store last year, and I had to have them.
Okay.
I picked them up and I looked at them, and I'm blind, right? But I can see colors.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I like these gloves or not. They're red. And I was like, so I put them down and I picked them back up. I'm like, huh, kind of like them. They're kind of like not like a bright fire engine red, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to get these gloves. And my mother-in-law was there.
Yeah.
And Joel's like, he looked at the price tag. He's like, nope, you're not. And he's like, put these down. Not happening. And I was like, you're not my dad. Like, I think actually that was close to pretty heated. I was mad.
Yeah, that was one of our.
That's true. I forgot about that. I blocked it out because I we don't do that. I just felt like, and I think it's because she was there, right? It's my mother-in-law. So I didn't feel good about that. So, you know, because we've done this a lot of times and, you know, we're in front of my mother-in-law and the kids and, you know, we're pretty good about like keeping it together. You know, I was like, Joel, like, I really want those gloves, you know, and he's like, hey, let's go to another store and see if they have one that's cheaper.
Right.
And he did the right thing. But I had my heart set on it's how they feel. Like they're just like amazing. I realized what it was, but we got home and I wasn't super happy. We talked later. I was like, we really need to talk this out. And I said to him, you know,
I think we had to reschedule that time.
I think we did. I think because that was, we did have to reschedule that one. Yeah.
I didn't have time for that.
No, you didn't. But I realized what it was for me. It was like, I'm a really reserved person in the way I dress. And I was at that time like transitioning from a pretty reserved profession to go be a performer. So like these made sense. And then also I looked one day and I realized this color is like a really similar color to a gift that my supervisor had actually given me when I became licensed. And it was really cool. Like she just knew me really well. And so like these gloves really connected me to like that part of the personality that she understood me to be. So, like cool. So like once he kind of saw that, like that was, financial freedom is still a thing for me. And I still feel like I was willing to not buy the gloves. But once he realized like how important it was, like he's like, all right, but the gloves needed to fit into a budget.
Right.
And that was fair, you know, that was fair. So we budgeted for them and we worked it out. But yeah.
Those are some gloves, I'll tell you that.
Thank you. I love them.
Do they have fur on the inside or what's the deal?
Yeah, they're totally like they've got like cashmere on the
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine what they cost.
But look, I mean, come on, look. It fits like a glove, you know?
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last of the questions. Is there anything you want to say out there to couples that are just getting started, and also to couples who are, say, 5-10 years in their marriage and are trying to figure things out, and things aren't going so well? So let's start with new couples. What do you want to say to them?
I think for new couples, I would say, you know, always make time for each other and esteem each other over anyone else in your life. I think above yourself. And if both of you are esteeming each other above, you know, your personal interests, and you're both taking care of each other, I think that will work out better than it would ever work out if you're just taking care of, like, making sure you're negotiating the deal that works for you or something. And for us, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to be with Emily so much is because we talked and it brought more of me out. And just recognizing what brought us together and focusing on that, continuing forward in our life after we're already together for, you know, 15 coming up on 20 years. Keep that fresh.
Wait,
like,
15, 20 years.
I said,
well.
oh, well,
19. Oh, you're
19
saying
is less than
theoretically.
20. We're getting closer to
I get
20
what
years
you're
of
saying.
marriage. But yes, we have been
Okay,
together
I get what you're
for
saying.
See, he knows.
10:30 at night or something.
Well done, Joel.
He speaks in like generalities sometimes.
Right,
Just
yeah.
that, like, it's his engineer brain.
Yes.
That's a good point. That's not an engineer brain.
No, that's the part of me that is not an engineer.
Right, definitely.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that, initially, like, the problem that you think is the problem is probably normal. Like most every couple has disagreements about money and, you know, about sex and about, like, there's things to work through. Like, that's normal. That's common. What is really problematic is not being able to do it calmly. And because then if you can't, there has to be safety. Both people have to feel safe to, like he wouldn't have been brought out if he didn't feel safe to share with me and to be vulnerable.
Right.
Like, so you're taking care of each other. This isn't about you. It's about, I'm taking care of him. He takes care of me. We take care of each other. And, I would say, like, have all the conversations. There's no conversation that you shouldn't have, because, I tell him everything. And,
Yeah.
It's hard work, but then also the flip side to that is when your spouse tells you something, it's your responsibility to protect that information. Don't go tell your friends.
Exactly.
Keep things kind of, between you guys, and maybe like a mutually agreed upon couple friend or something. I think that's really healthy. Like we have had that, like, hey, I'm going to go talk to so-and-so about,
right.
and he's good, right? Because he knows I need to process. Like,
right.
Sometimes I put
yeah,
I've
exactly.
heard it, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, isn't there some girl you can talk to, or even another guy sometimes, just to like get another opinion? Like he's really good about it. But like, and then I think though, like years down the road, I mean, I have to say this, like as a former counselor, I really wish my clients would have come to me earlier in their relationship. It is never too early to go talk to a counselor, and it's not going to hurt you. If it hurts you, it's just bringing up what you're avoiding, which is going to hurt you in the long term. I think sometimes like, but have couple friends, seriously, like even more than therapy, because therapy can't replace community. So have couple friends and do fun things together with your couple friends.
Right.
So important. And yeah, and listen to these like podcasts and stuff, and but be around other couples. We've always had other couple friends, and we've learned a lot and grown a lot, I think, because of that.
Going through it on your own sometimes isn't the solution, even with therapy,
Right, it's not.
You do need somebody to count on other than, the therapist or your parents.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and just like normalize conversation. Like, yeah, conflict happens, fights happen.
Yes.
I mean, we said we didn't really get into heated things, and then I remembered the gloves. It's like, it happens. It's not our norm, but yeah, it happens, And we did talk to our friends about that at various times with each other's permission. Again, we have permission here, and that's, who can we talk to? Who do we not talk to? What do we do?
Right. Yeah. We went out a little bit for a second, but that's okay. Come on. All right. So one more question.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people ask me this, and I tell them I don't recommend it. You're both in heavy debt and you're thinking about getting married. What do you say to that?
You want to start first?
Whether it's no, not to interrupt, but whether it's school loans, you have
right, yeah,
$250,000 of school loans. He has $180,000 worth of school loans, and you're both working mediocre jobs. $20 an hour. Do you recommend those people get married, or what is your recommendation?
What do you want to say?
I don't have a lot of professional experience, but I would say get married. Just have a wedding they don't have to actually cost that much. I have
absolutely
friends that got married in a fire hall,
100%,
and it was a potluck.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if you want to get married, it shouldn't be about a wedding day.
Yeah,
it should be about
marriage,
you and your spouse.
Yeah.
And
correct. I agree.
And who's going to support you better in pulling yourself through that debt than your spouse?
Right.
Yeah. I think, I wouldn't say to not get married because of it, because they're going to be in a relationship anyway. So, depending on everyone's, views on all that. But I think like, the relationship issue needs to be addressed regardless of if you're married or not.
Right.
So how are you going to address it? Right. So, because it's not a finance issue, it's a relationship issue, because it will trickle down into other aspects.
Right.
The reason money is the most fought over topic is it's usually not just about money, it's about other things. And so I would say that, but do financial counseling together, maybe before the marriage.
Right. It's a good idea.
Wedding.
Absolutely.
And for us, the answer, we were able to come into it with, combined finances up front. It might not be possible for everybody.
Yeah, that might not work for some people.
You may have to figure out something. I think it's a good idea in general. It kind of provides some unity, and but it might not work if you're under debt. And I guess I'll say this: don't get married if you can't talk about that.
Right. If you can't openly talk about it, you're not ready for marriage. 100%. And I would say that for any of the big topics. Like, if you can't openly talk about money, if you can't openly talk about sex, if you can't openly talk about even hypothetical scenarios that you're going to get into, because a wedding is one day, but a marriage, ideally is a lifetime. And, we've encountered issues that, like, I think it's safe to say, like, some of the things we've gone through, we never thought would have happened to us. And so, like, just being prepared, but we were ready because of conversations we'd had. So we knew we could fall back on each other for things. And, you don't know what you're going to go through in your marriage, and we've known a lot of couples, like, let's say, just for example, like children, people, life is no guarantee, and people lose kids. Your relationship's got to be strong enough to weather storms that you don't ever think you're going to have to weather.
Right. Yeah.
You got to talk. You got to be able to talk to each other.
And if you can't talk to each other about those things before, do you really respect that person? And should you really marry that person if you don't respect them?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
All right. There any last things you guys got to say? One last statement, or one last sentence to sum up what you think. Well, what you think about financial stability and marriage.
Oh, I was just gonna do a random marriage thing.
Okay, yeah, random marriage thing is fine.
All right. I will say this, and this is kind of like a weird, but whatever. Life's not Disney. It's not going to work out like some princess and some prince goes and sweeps you off your feet.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep it real, and keep your expectations of each other real. That's your best chance at not being disappointed.
Okay. Thank you.
I agree. And I think what I would say is kind of a general marriage thing. Don't lump men or women or whoever into a box. Don't think all men this, all women this. Get to know your partner, because you don't need to care about any other. You just care about that one person in terms of, their behaviors, their needs, it's this thing. Women are this, men are no. My partner this. Get to know your partner. And then the other thing I'll say is, like, a lot of couples think they have a problem with communication. They don't. They have a problem with regulation, emotion regulation, and really hearing
their
each other.
feelings. Yes.
Their feelings. And when a person denies their feelings, that's a form of gaslighting on the other partner. So, really being careful not to deny, I don't have emotions. Only you. No, that's not even okay.
Right.
Because everyone has emotions, and we have more emotions than just anger, by the way. We all have them. So acknowledge them, get comfortable with them, because they're going to be alive and well in your marriage.
Absolutely. And thank you both. Heartfelt thanks to both of you for being the first to trust us with your story. I appreciate that. Hopefully this will set the tone for many to follow. I'm very grateful. I really am grateful for this. Your laughter, your wisdom. I hope you guys are to help the shape of what, Marriage Capital 101 is going to be about. And thank you for letting us in. That's all I can say.
Thank you. And if I can do the Facebook plug.
Absolutely. What's your Facebook profile?
Emily Livelle, Livelle. And Joel goes by a different last name on Facebook, and his isn't really public. But mine, I would really appreciate the follow. I do a lot of content creation on stuff like, relationships and, gender equality and things like that, and also music stuff. So would love to follow.
Awesome. And we'd like to have you on a couple of times a year or so if that's what you'd like. And
I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd give us a little more insight from an actual, marriage counselor, couples counselor. And again, we thank you again. We really do appreciate you guys and gals.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Great.
Sounds great. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. See you next time on Marriage Capital 101.